Hello to all you in YouTube world. My name is Scarlett, and I am an atheist and skeptic in progress. I like to contemplate matters of life and philosophy, especially what gives us meaning and purpose. Today I'd like to address why I'm doing this channel and why I am passionate about atheism. I used to be less outspoken about the fact that I am an atheist. It can appear strange to believers that someone could be passionate about disbelief or unbelief, and they might ridicule a stance on atheism. After all, I don't worry about going around talking about my lack of belief in unicorns or fairies or a race of aliens poised at the edge of our atmosphere, ready to pulverize Earth. But there is a difference between my lack of belief in hundreds of other things and my atheism. I live in the US, surrounded by believers. I grew up Catholic myself, and most people I encounter are believers. None of that is a problem, except that groups of authoritarian Christians want to change our laws to reflect their religious beliefs. Some want to coerce belief in their flavor of Christianity, because here it is Christianity. I've even heard some believers frame forcing belief on others as a way to impose freedom. Yeah, I'm not lying about that. As I see it, there are groups of people out there upset that others are not using their freedom in an approved way. And one of my concerns is, how do we get to a place of real religious freedom where believers can worship and respect their morality, but the law leaves a place for people who have come to a different conclusion on matters that don't impact others? But here is the problem. Some very vocal theists think that our political system is an extension of God's will, that our laws can anger or appease this deity, that all citizens need to get in line or we will all suffer horribly. I know, of course, that preachers vary wildly in their utterances. I have seen the blame for a specific hurricane placed on gay people or abortion or feminism or general disobedience to God's divine will. They can't all be right. Which is it? What is God angry about today? Anyway, my point is, I don't know how you reason with someone like this. Someone who just asserts that a natural disaster is God's judgment. That when a president they like is elected, it's God's will, but when their candidate loses, God has been thwarted. So let me just share with you some choice quotes from Charisma News. This is from Thursday, September 22nd, 2022, and it's the first of two parts. 5 ways Democrats are deliberately bringing destruction to America. Thankfully, it is marked as opinion, but I wonder if some people think there's more to it, that they think that there's some actual news behind it or revelation as opposed to just one guy's assessment. By the way, I am very interested in politics, but this piece is not about the traditional left-wing, right-wing split. It's not about the issues really at all. This is about the way religion has co-opted politics so that it can be hard to find joint solutions to problems. I mean, if you can shrug and appeal to God, there is nothing to discuss. Anyway, the piece makes clear that it is the left, Democrats, who are evil. And I have to tell you, I know lots of Christian Democrats. You know, I think I would be upset, no matter where I fit on the political spectrum, that extreme Christians making unsupported assertions had decided that they own the definition of Republican and Democrat. And a note about the web design, it's busy. The page is full of ads for books with a fire and brimstone colored theme. So attractive. I find it jangling on the nerves. And the end times is always on the edge of our awareness on this page. And this cool purple ad for guaranteed prayer. And as we look at excerpts, we should note the hyperbolic language, the way claims are strung together without support, the way the writer appeals to end times concerns and a battle of good and evil. Yeah, so let's move on and start looking at the article. Here's our first excerpt. So we have a lot of simple assertions about malevolent forces, some appeals to Marx and Lenin to poison the well, not just anti-Biden rhetoric, but implications that he is not really president, that he is a pawn, all the usual talking points. Look, I'm not the biggest fan of Biden, but I actually think he's a decent human being who cares about others. He has a stutter and is prone to gaffes, but he isn't incapacitated. I really hate that I have to defend people that I'm indifferent about, and we aren't even really talking about any issues yet. Moving on, there is this assertion we are living in Babylon, some more poisoning the well with a quote from Lenin. I don't even know if these quotes are real. That's not the point. The point is to bring up boogeymen and to get people on the edge of their seats. Now, technically, there are 10 points that the writer wants to talk about, but this post is just about 5, the first 5, and I just want us to pay attention to the language and not worry too much about the specifics on the issues. And LOL about this, we have to wake up or lose our nation. Give me a break, man. So, all right, let's go see what are these evil plans that the Democrats have, the evil that they're willing to wreak upon the nation of the United States. All right, point 1. We have woke, we have the incorrect assertion that someone wants to make it illegal to pray in schools. And this is Rich coming on the heels of a Supreme Court case saying that it was okay for a coach to pray with his team. We also have the invocation of the scary LGBTQ agenda, critical race theory, and pornography, because all that belongs together, and also the frightening idea that books should be available. Whatever happened to, if you don't like it, don't read it? I know this is a particular point on the right, that kids are being indoctrinated, but how about we try to teach kids how to learn, how to sort information? And parents can be involved in all that, but this is an assertion without any evidence. People feel it's true, so it must be. And as far as been demonstrated, schools want students to feel welcome regardless of gender identity, and critical race theory and pornography are not taught. They just aren't, and just needs to go. These are ideas that need to go. But again, we're not going to get too far into the weeds about this. This is about hyperbolic language, scaring people into thinking that we're doing something to children. Let's just get on to point 2. So here we have redefining marriage with a reference to Obama for some reason. I actually think it was good for Obama to change his position here because his policy stances should not stem from Christianity, but also the world is changing. But anyway, the reference to Obama is just more poisoning the well. And no one is proposing we redefine marriage to include all arrangements, whatever that means. Does it just mean gay marriage? What is implied is a sort of slippery slope that gay marriage will lead to debauchery. This is just dressed up groomer rhetoric. Need I remind everyone that the Bible is full of all kinds of sexual escapades? Abraham let Sarah go with the Pharaoh for a while when they were in Egypt. He also impregnated her handmaid. Look what Lot and Noah got up to after their respective horrifying disasters. And David lusted after a woman so much he had her husband sent off to war. And she was only one woman among all the kinds of wives and concubines he had. And so on. If you want some pornography, it's all there in the good book. And marriage apparently didn't mean one man and one woman in the Old Testament. Jesus and Paul didn't get married at all. It looks like Christianity has room for other accommodations. Anywho, let's go on to the next point. Point 3, abortion, because, of course, here misrepresented as babies being killed in the womb. Here, Biden is not incompetent, he is clever, positioning himself as a moderate politician and devout Catholic. He can be personally against abortion while realizing it is better that abortion be available. I know it's hard to believe that public policy can be different from your personal positions. And let's not get into all the baby killing that goes on in the Bible, or we'll be here all day. So let's get on to point 4, immigration. There is so much wrong with the way he positions this issue that I could make a whole video on it. There are no links out about immigration, by the way. That just one is about drugs. Color me surprised. Look, whatever your thoughts are on it, immigration is not a simple issue. There are different ways to come to the U.S. with different laws based on country of origin. But of course, we're going to emphasize the drug runners and potential terrorists because that plays well. He states the conspiracy theory that immigrants get all kinds of benefits regular Americans don't, and it's all at our expense, etc. People move around the world, and they always have, for different reasons too. It's not evil to move around the world. The question is, how do we regulate who comes here, for how long, and so on. I'll come back to this in a moment, but now let's go to number 5. Spending bad. Not all that many details here, except to allude to student loan forgiveness. This is just Biden bad, spending bad. I would love to know where in the Bible it says that spending is bad. Of all the issues, government spending probably can divide people who are on the same side of other issues. Taxes and benefits all hit people in different circumstances differently, And some people are okay with government doing some things but not others. Oh, and socialism and financial collapse and apocalypse and all kinds of fear-mongering that the world is coming to an end. Because, of course, see the fire and brimstone ad just above this piece. To reiterate, my point here is not to say that these aren't real issues or that I know exactly what should be done. My point isn't even to debunk these issues or what he says. My point is that religion and politics are incredibly intertwined in this piece, to the point that one side is evil and the other is what God wants. We can't have nuanced discussion of the issues with this kind of attitude. Let's just take immigration. People move around the world for a variety of reasons. Sometimes people leave their home because of dangerous circumstances. Casting immigration as just evil, fear-mongering over every migrant, is just irresponsible. Also, didn't Jesus say to welcome the stranger? Oh, well, let's forget about that. By the way, I do know Christians who want to see better immigration laws for people fleeing poverty, war, crime, and so on, so this is not a monolithic position. But the discussion in this piece is about fear-mongering. The implication is that immigration is just about drugs and violence, and that flattens out the discourse, and it means we can't find real solutions. The overlay of religion adds a moral context with an appeal to God that denies human-based answers. To circle back where I started, this is the reason I am now passionate about atheism. It's because I want us to root our responses to real problems in secular solutions. Bickering about what God wants, especially when believers of the same stripe don't even agree, is fruitless. You would think the fact that people don't agree, despite all claiming to get messages from their God, would give them pause. But they simply throw the no true Scotsman out. Those aren't real Christians. Well, that doesn't help either. And the issue is these people have real power. They have platforms. They have the ears of politicians. They have money. They can influence others. I would love to be a quiet atheist living my life and allowing everyone their own beliefs, but if your authoritarian beliefs are going to impact my and other people's lives, I can't just sit by. Well, there's so much more to say about this. We'll come back to this. Why should we be passionate about atheism? But I'm going to leave it here for now. As always, I've been Scarlett, giving my life meaning and purpose by making this video. If you liked it, you can YouTube like it, make a comment, whatever, subscribe, enjoy your life, enjoy YouTube. See you in the next one. Bye for now.